Watching on YouTube and Facebook. Just been having a little Zoom session with our breathe balance movers, so we've got a lot to discuss and go through today. I want to look at just some work with the feet, so just getting the feet working, mobilizing the feet and the ankles and that grounding and that stability. Also looking at stride length as well for when you're walking and when you are running. And if we have time, some of the stuff that we did on Tuesday with that with the box breathing and the horse stance, because that's quite fun. So we'll start off by standing. Find your space, find your comfortable space, and take your feet about shoulder width apart, a little bit of bend in the knees. We will start straight away with some nice spinal cord breathing. It's like a nice stretch first thing in the morning, breathing in through the nose. And then you're tucking the pelvis under, curling up into a little ball, breathing out. Breathing in, expanding and opening up the chest, breathing out, softening and relaxing. Breathing in, breathing out. And the idea with the breath, if the breath is just easy, it's soft, it's rhythmical, you don't want to feel as if you're running out of breath or breathing too much air. Just go at your own comfortable pace. And no strain, no excess strain or stress in the body. It's not about forcing or pushing, as we know by now. It's about easing. On the next in-breath, I'd like you to rotate to the right and breathe into the right. And then breathe out to the right. And breathe into the right. And then rotate and breathe out back to the center. And then rotate to the left. Breathe into the left. Breathe out to the left. Breathe into the left. Breathe out to center. Then we go again to the right. Breathe into the right. Notice the weight shift in the lower body. Breathe out to the right. Breathe into the right. Rotate and breathe out to the center. Then we go left. Breathe into the left. Breathe out to the left. Breathe into the left. Breathe out to center. And then we just stay in the center for one more. Breathe into the center. Breathe out to the center. And then take a moment's rest. There. Just move around a little bit if you need to. And then find your balance. So the idea of that movement, it's a nice stretch, it's a nice wake-up stretch. It gets the spine moving, it gets the spine energized, it gets that spine extending and flexing. It also gets that elasticity of the rib cage, the intercostal muscles expanding and softening, expanding and softening. Let's do knocking, so feet shoulder width apart again. Rotation now through the spine, rotating the spine. Just letting the elbows bend and you're just tapping back and belly. And we're doing this to create mobility on that rotational axis of the spine. So you've got individual vertebrae that will rotate one on top of the other. So we want to make sure we're nice and tall through the spine, through the chin, through the neck, so that we can rotate around that axis. And you're just breathing naturally here, just breathe in and out through the nose, just normally, naturally. These movements just to get the body warmed up, get the blood flowing, get the energy flowing. Let's take a nice full breath in now through the nose, and on a nice long sigh out, move into water waves. Slow it down into water waves. So breath in and that sigh out can be through the mouth. The idea of releasing and cleansing, clearing. And then take a moment again, slow it down. Find your balance, nice and tall. Let the breath settle. And then we'll step about shoulder and a half width apart. Comfortable step sideways for you there. Hips back, just gently resting on the thighs. Let's start just by hip shifting. So or pelvis shifting. So keep that pelvis parallel to the ground and square to the front. So there's no rotation side to side or tipping side to side. Nice and square. At the moment, the shoulders are balanced on top of the pelvis as well. This leg straightens without locking. This leg straightens without locking. That knee glides over, glides over. So just get that movement going first. Nice. And then we can slightly tilt forwards, and then we can free up that spine. So work your way up the spine. So we're getting the spine to move side to side. So it's like a wave going through, starting right down in the sacrum, in the tailbone, and you're working all the way through the spine. Visualize each segment moving, or each vertebra moving, and then the next one following. Paying particular attention to the upper back. See if we can get that wave going through the upper back. And then the head, which is on top of the spine, the cervical spine, the neck. And just looking at the opposite foot is a nice way to free up any tightness and tension maybe in the neck and the shoulders. Moving the body like a river. And then slowing that down. And just taking your time just to come up to standing, just so you don't feel dizzy or anything. And walking the feet back in. And shaking the legs out a little bit. And we'll do some hip looseners. So some of the leg swings. Balance on one leg, free up the other leg. Swing that leg across and out. Cross, out, and I fell over. Across, step. Nice soft landing, no crash landings. Stabilize on that support leg. Soft landing. Soft landing. Soft landing. Couple more. Good, and then take a rest. And just give your ankle a little bit of a shake out now. So you're just shaking out your, if I'm mirroring you, your left ankle. Just freeing it up. So you're just shaking from the hip and just letting that ankle get nice and floppy, as you can do here with the wrist. So quite often those ankles tighten up. So see if we can get that ankle and foot floppy at the end of the leg. Just give it a good shake. Good shake out. often it's quite difficult to let go. It's like, I want to just hold that ankle. So just free it up a little bit. And then shake out the whole leg, shake out the whole leg. And then we'll go on the other side. So balance. It's a good balance exercise, obviously, as well. Stabilize on that side. Shake out. And you might find one side is a lot easier to shake out than the other. And you might find actually if you use your hand and shake your hand, it frees up the ankle a little bit as well. So shake it out, free it up, shake the leg around a little bit. Give it a good shake. I think when we're doing the full body shake, what you're doing is releasing any tightness and tension and getting blood flow throughout the whole body. We're just doing the same here, but just paying particular attention to the leg and the ankle. Good, and then just shake both legs out a little bit and stand for a moment. And now feel the tingling sensation. See if you can feel that energy, blood flowing through the lower legs, through the feet, maybe up the legs. And then we'll come back to balance on the right side and we'll just reach out with the left foot. Leg is straight but not locked. And we're just going to do a few circles now with the foot. So imagine you're drawing a big circle with your toe and you're just getting that foot and ankle circling in one direction. Big as circle as possible. You might hear some creaks and crunches. You can feel, spread the toes as well. Obviously, if you have any pain in your ankle, then you just stop. You don't do anything that's creating any pain. And then let's go the other direction. Notice how this works all the way up the lower leg as well. The muscles, feel the muscles and the tendons and the fascia working all the way up the leg. So you're circling in the other direction. And then we'll swap sides, so balance. Other leg forwards, circle in one direction. And again, this may feel very different, one side to the other. Feel how that's almost like wringing out all of the muscles, the calf muscle, the lower leg, the shins. Change direction when you're ready. Big circle, nice and smooth, nice and slow, no rush. And then take a rest there. And just give both legs a good shake out. Shake out from the hips as well. And take a moment to balance. Feel how your feet feel now in connection to the ground. And play around with that center of mass, which is in the pelvic area here. So just that very subtle shift forwards. I'll show you from the side. You can keep watching from the front. Very subtle shift forwards, so you feel that little bit more pressure on the ball of the foot, and that shift backwards where you feel the pressure on the heel of the foot. So just have a play around, keeping the spine nice and long. And maybe you can play around shifting side to side. You know, when we practice the bamboo in the wind, this is what you will most probably notice in the feet, is where you feel the feet in connection to the ground as well. So just shifting around, exploring how the pressure subtly changes on the parts of the foot when you shift side to side, when you shift forwards and backwards, and you maybe spiral a little bit. Remembering that every time we take a step, every time we land, the foot is going to go through this different loads in different areas of the foot very subtly. That's why it needs to be strong and supportive, but also have that flexibility, that movement to be able to absorb the landing. So just as the spine has all of those individual segments, so when we step, when we land, we absorb and expand. The foot has so many different little bones in to absorb the pressure, to absorb the force. So it's nice just to explore what it feels like on the outside of the foot and on the inside. And then let's just do a little bit of walking on the heels. So again, if this is painful, stop. Don't force through any pain, but if you can walk comfortably on the heels, so you can flex the foot, flex the toes, point the toes up towards the shins, and just have a little walk on the heels. So you're stretching out the calf muscles, the plantar fascia, the fascia underneath the foot, also the shins. There's something quite satisfying about walking on the heels. I really like this. And then take a rest. You might feel, I just feel as if I just need to shake that one out a little bit, just needs to click a little bit there. Have a little rest, and then we'll walk on the bubbling spring. Remember, the bubbling spring is the ball of the foot, so just on the ball of the foot. We're not on the toes. We don't want to be forcing on putting loads of pressure on the big toe or the little toes or anything like that. You want to be loading through the ball of the foot, the bubbling spring. Again, this is another really good one to really lengthen the calves and keep the legs long. And feel that softness, that springiness in the landing. Notice again where your center of gravity is. If you're leaning back or leaning forwards, you lose your balance, you lose your alignments with gravity. And then take a little bit of a rest, shake out again there. Let the feet just rest a little bit, legs rest a little bit. And then we'll go on that side of the foot. So just walking on the side of the feet. If you go out for a walk or a run after this, you'll really feel how you've freed up the ankles a little bit and get the feet working a little bit more. And remember, it's having the feet working and not overworking. Everything is about things working how they need to work rather than overworking or overreaching or over-breathing or overeating or over-drinking. We want to get the right balance of strength, structure, flexibility. And then let's go on the, I've got a few clicks then, just changing direction on the inside again. If you have any problems with the knees or anything like that, just be careful on this one. But it's always good to do these different movements that are slightly out of alignment, because our body can't be in perfect alignment all the time. And this also strengthens that structure. Good. And then take a rest and give the legs a good shake. And then take a stand for a moment. See if you can feel the warmth, the energy within the feet, the ankles, the toes. Let's do a bit of balance. That'd be quite nice. Now we've worked on the warming up the feet and getting that structure working and absorbing the force. We will balance. I'll mirror you. So let's focus on the left side of the body. You're going to lift your right knee up and your right elbow connected to the knee. That left hand just places. It's almost like you are just connecting to the ground through that left hand. Then we're going to take a very, very slow ball of the foot, roll through the foot, balance, stabilize, swap sides. That support leg is straight but not locked, so it's strong, and then slowly back down. Bubbling spring, heel, balance, come back up. Really feel that foot in contact with the ground, nice and strong, stable, balance. Feel the strength through the feet. Keep breathing, you're just breathing naturally. Slow, soft landing. It's like really slow motion movement as you change that step. Again. Stand tall. Good. One more each side. So we're spending a little bit more time balancing, but you're still breathing. We're not holding the breath. You're just holding the position, but not the breath. And then just one more. Soft landing. And then step back down. Good. How do the feet feel? The feet should feel really good now, really connected. One of the questions Keith asked just before in our little group chat before we started the session was about stride length. So I'll see if I can explain as simply as possible about the difference between a stride length and a step. So a stride and a step. So what we often talk about in terms of walking and running is stride length. So all we mean by stride length is the difference between where you take off from the ground to where you land on the ground. So if I take off from the ground here and land there, that is my stride length. It's a very short stride length. So that's a stride length. A step is not a stride length. So I could take a very short step, but I could have a long stride length. It's difficult to show you in slow motion, but what you can see is if you watch a runner running who has got a very long stride length and they're running efficiently, they're not reaching out in front to get that stride length. They're using this back leg or the support leg or the balance leg to move the center of gravity forward. So that step is short there, but the stride is long out of the back. So it's all dependent on where your center of gravity is as to how big a step you are taking. So I hope that makes sense. So if I'm doing this, and my center of gravity is back here, I'm overstepping or I'm overreaching. So I'm reaching too far forwards with that front leg and I'm leaving my center of gravity back here. Then I'm having to do a lot of work to bring my body onto this leg and then to move myself forwards. But if I'm moving my center of gravity forwards using this standing leg and I'm really driving from there and I'm taking a short step there, my center of gravity is here, I have less work to do to bring my upper body there and then move forwards. So just to have that difference between, or have that understanding about, just because you are taking quick steps if you're running, it doesn't mean to say that your stride length is always short. So you can extend the stride length by opening up. It's all about how you have your range of motion at the hips, how your hip flexor works. So it's all about the structure of your body and your alignment with gravity. Just watch videos of Mo Farah running, of Eliud Kipchoge running. They're running slow or fast. When they're running slow or fast, they're always taking the same step in front, if that makes sense. So they're never overstriding or overreaching in front of the body. So just have a little awareness of that. And just in the last couple of minutes, we'll just practice that take a step very simply. So come with your feet hip width apart and balance. Nice and tall through the spine. Now I'm going to mirror you, so I'm going to use this right side of the body to stabilize. Stabilize on the right side of the body. Focus on the center of gravity. Move that center of gravity forwards and just let that foot step forwards. So there's a very short step forwards and then step back. So the work is going on down this right side of the body. Stabilize on the right side of the body. Nice and tall. Move your center of gravity forwards and just let that left foot just step through. And just do that a few times. Stabilize, balance, step through. Stabilize, balance, step through. Keep going on that side, I'll show you from the side. So you stabilize, balance, step through. And then swap sides. So balance on the left, stabilize, balance, step through. Come back, stabilize, balance, step through. Stabilize, balance, step through. And then notice the difference now if you really overstride and reach forwards, how much harder work that is. Do that without hurting yourself. So big stride and step and you crash down. Notice how your body tends to swing backwards. You're just exaggerating the movement. But if you keep that step short as you move forwards, it's much more efficient. You don't have to use as much oxygen. You don't have to breathe as much, and it's much more energy efficient on the body. You absorb the force of the landing much better. So that was a very 5-minute quick idea of that shorter step forward. So I hope that makes sense. Hope the feet worked, and it's a little bit different session today, but quite nice to mix things up. I will see you. Thanks for joining, and I'll see you on Tuesday. We'll do this one on Tuesday because we didn't have time to do this one today. Have a great day. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you on Tuesday. Thanks for your time. Bye-bye.
you. Bye.
Bye.
Record.